So since the lecture is being recorded, let's start. Common mistakes in speaking. Okay. I want every one of you to have a positive attitude towards accepting criticism, okay? Because we do have what you call the constructive criticism. All right? Are we already aware what that means when we say constructive criticism? From the word constructive, it means to build. And criticism means to point out what's wrong, but in order for you to correct it and to fix it and definitely to become better. All right? So that is what constructive criticism is. So that's why whenever you are about to attend a coaching session, don't feel shy, don't feel intimidated, don't feel kasi marami dito alam ko umiiwas sa coaching. Because I've been seeing students, umaattend sila ng mock test, computer mock. But then ayaw nila magpalista. And I feel like they are afraid of facing their fears, which is facing the interview, being in the interview, all right? But it's very important for you to become familiar with that kind of setup because familiarity will eventually build confidence, okay? You might have stepped into this room lacking confidence, lacking knowledge, strategies and techniques on how you can perform well during the interview. But of course, before you take your exam, we want you to be fully equipped. And not only that, to boost your confidence as well. So we will definitely help you become more confident, okay? So there's nothing wrong to talk about mistakes. And I'm the person who always covers this lecture. Kasi ganun naman talaga yung mga babae, di ba? We always see what's wrong and we're always good at pointing out mistakes. Okay? So today, let's talk about the average band score of test takers in the Philippines. So in IELTS, there are two types of students. We have academic students, for those who are going to apply for a student visa abroad, and for those who have a bachelor's degree or higher than that, you're going to take an academic exam for IELTS. And if you're applying for a job that is not yung skilled worker in the job, okay? But for general training, we also have general training for those who are going to apply as skilled workers, or yung iba naman, nag-general training lang naman sila because na-petition sila. They don't really require a very high band score. So they just need a 4.5 or 5, something like that. Okay? So if you can look at the statistics, the average band score among Filipino test takers is a 6.8 for academic students in the speaking test, as compared to general training students who accumulated a 6.4 average band score. So if you notice, there's a very slight difference, just a 0.4 difference, right? Why? It's because of the nakaka-distract yun. Very entertained siya, no? No, it's okay. So, what do you call this? There's only a 0.4 difference because the attitude of general training students tend to be more coachable, teachable. Kaya masisipag silang umattend ng mga coaching, o masisipag silang umattend ng magpa-check ng mga writing tasks. Di ba? So, medyo kampante kasi yung mga academic students. So, they feel like, kaya ko na yung IELTS, I'm not gonna attend coaching, I'm not going to. So, may ganong stereotype among academic students. That's why, as you can see, the statistics show that even general training students can get a 6 or a 7 score in their speaking because mas determined sila, mas coachable, mas teachable. You get my point? All right. So the grading criteria for your interview, aka your speaking subtest in IELTS, will cover these 4 areas right here. So we have fluency and cohesion, vocabulary and lexical resource, grammar and pronunciation. So each is 25% of your total score. So kung sa fluency and cohesion, naka-8 ka, pagdating naman sa vocabulary and lexical resource, naka 7.5. Let's do the math, guys. Okay. Tapos, in grammar, you only got 6. And in pronunciation, you got a 7. All right, so that is 28.5 in total, divided by 4. So the band score, the band score for speaking is a 7. Okay, so yeah, that's how you get your score in your IELTS interview. So we will talk about each, fluency and cohesion, but if you want a more detailed or intricate discussion about the 4 grading criterias in IELTS, you should attend the major lecture for speaking, which is speaking skills enhancement. I think we had that last week. Yeah, and I was the coach last week. Okay, so today we're gonna quickly talk about fluency and cohesion. So what does it mean? If you're fluent in English, does it particularly mean that you speak fast? Okay. In IELTS, we are not encouraging you to speak fast because it's much better for you to maintain a medium-paced speaking pace so that the ideas will flow naturally and you will lessen the probability of you making mistakes. Okay? Cohesion talks about the unity of your thoughts, your ideas. How connected are they to each other? Or are your answers relevant to the question? Or do you have a tendency to go off topic because you did not understand the question properly? So fluency is about the appropriateness of your response, okay? And your versatility in handling different kinds of topics during the interview. Because in the interview, it's going to cover 3 tasks. So you have task 1, which is going to ask you questions about your personal life, about you, your family, your hobbies, your interests. And then on task 2, situational questions will be given. All right. And usually task 3 is a continuation of the topic on task 2. However, they appear to be more complex and more abstract in nature. So of course, i-judge ka rin according sa vocabulary use. Are you using the correct vocabulary in every situation that you're talking about? Or are you having a hard time using English words because you don't know when is the appropriate time to use certain words? And of course, in vocabulary, the examiner wants to see if you can use high-level vocabulary, especially on task 3, because task 3, the questions are going to be more difficult. And we have grammar. Okay, so good news about grammar is that it's not as important in the speaking subtest as it is in your writing subtest. Okay? Why? Because in the speaking subtest, which is an interview, you can make slips every now and then, but not everything will be noted by the examiner, such as pauses, commas, punctuation marks. But in writing, definitely, you are leaving footprints or evidence of your grammatical errors, which is spelling, capitalization, wrong use of SVA, subject verb agreement, wrong use of prepositions, wrong use of determiners such as and, the, and definitely in grammar, it's also going to check how well you use verb tenses. Okay? Kasi sa speaking, maring hindi na masyadong narinig na nagkamali ka sa past tense tsaka simple past. But definitely, sa writing, you are going to have everything shown on your writing task, okay? And lastly, we have pronunciation, which is an area which you also need to enhance on because wrong pronunciation can lead to a lot of problems, okay? Magkakause ito ng misunderstanding between you and the examiner because certain words in English may be spelled the same, may sound the same, but if you mispronounce it with a slightest interchange of vowel sounds, it can change the whole meaning of the word. That's why it's very important for you to be careful with your pronunciation. It doesn't matter if you have a local accent. Like, medyo matigas yung accent mo kasi probably you're from the southern part of the Philippines, right? But that doesn't matter because what really matters is how you pronounce words. And there are a lot of test takers, for example, who have Indian accent, South Korean accent, Japanese accent, but it really depends on the clarity of the words and the audibility of your voice on how well you can communicate with the examiner, okay? Pero having said that this is the grading criteria, there's another factor that you need to consider, which is your overall delivery during the speaking test. Delivery talks about your body language. So what am I talking about here? Your eye contact. It's very important for you to make eye contact with the examiner because when you make eye contact, you show how genuine you are when you're talking, all right? Usually people who lie, they can't make eye contact. That's one sign if someone is lying to you, they can't make eye contact. They're agitated. The body speaks for itself. Okay? So I'm a very observant person, so I can easily tell if someone is not being honest or may certain siyang pinagdadaanan. I feel like I could have taken psychology in my other life. But not too late pa naman because I'm still young. Maybe in the future. So anyway, enough of that. Let's go back to our topic, which is delivery. Eye contact is important. Your mannerisms. So if you do have any gestures or body movements that are unnecessary, we have to practice eliminating those. Kasi ayaw naman nating mapagkamalan pang baliw ng examiner, right? Because there are some students na may certain mannerisms sila, like fidgeting too much or can't sit still. It will highly affect your score as well because, you know, you are being interviewed live. So even though computer-based exam yon at virtual lang naman, through the internet or video call lang naman yung interview, but the thing is, kita yung half body mo, upper. Okay, so the examiner can see if you're doing extra hand movements, if you're being too nervous. So it can be a subjective judgment because tao lang din naman si examiner. Okay, that's one of the negative things about IELTS is that their judgment towards you can be subjective because they're humans. They have emotions, right? Alam mo yung feeling na minsan when you look at the person and iba talaga yung vibe eh. Like, I don't like this person. Parang first impression, I don't like this person. I don't want to talk to this person. Parang may ganon, di ba? Aminin nyo, may mga ganong instances.
Yes.
Wow, with conviction talaga. Okay, so yes, that's right. So, ganun lang din si examiner. The examiner can judge you subjectively. So, in order for you to avoid that, make sure that you maintain a positive demeanor during the interview. And how do you do that? You greet the examiner, you smile, okay? Baka yung iba pa dito may RBF. Do you guys know what RBF is? Knowledge unlocked. Okay, RBF stands for resting bitch face. Yung tipong hindi ka pa nagsasalita, pero kita na sa mukha mo, ayun tayo, not approachable siya, ganon. Like, I'm intimidated to talk to this person because she has an RBF. And we can't blame you for that. Because sometimes, natatawa ka. Actually, I considered you to have that. Did I tell you that or not? So anyways, pero hindi naman kasi porket yun yung demeanor ng tao, may RBF siya, it doesn't mean that that person is not necessarily nice, right? Ilang beses ka pa magbabalik-balik ng pwesto? You. Okay. Do you want me to hinaan? So, pwede nga na ilanon yung aircon, pero I don't know how to fix it, guys. So anyways, yun nga, yung mga examiner, they're going to really, there's a possibility that they judge you subjectively. So, to avoid that, unahan mo na, okay? Smile, even though sometimes the examiner will not give you a good vibe. Kasi usually, masusungit. Why? Kasi matatanda na sila. Yung pagiging masungit ba, grabe. Yung pagiging masungit ba, associated siya sa age? Somehow, oo. Okay? Because older people tend to have a lot of body pain. Di ba? Body pain, or probably frustrations in life, or probably a lot of things going on in their lives. So, usually they have that kind of demeanor na masungit. And, sasadyain talaga ng examiner na magmukhang masungit. Because, ang goal is to intimidate you. Ikaw ba naman employee ng British Council, syempre, gusto mo mag-earn yung business, di ba? So, i-intimidate mo si test taker para hindi niya maipasa yung exam. At mag-retake. Ang mahal kasi ng bayad sa retake. So, kikita sila talaga. So, kaya tinuturuan namin kayo ngayon kung paano nyo i-handle yung mga ganong klaseng situations. Alright? I feel like I don't wanna upload this episode anymore. This lecture. Okay, just kidding. So first, we're going to talk about the common mistakes with fluency and cohesion. These are what most test takers commit, the mistakes that they commit in fluency and cohesion. Okay, but first, let's take a look at this photo. All right, so what pops into your mind when you see this picture? Let's test your adjectives. What word do you think best describes the image that you're seeing right now? Okay, yes. What's your answer? Uneasy? Yes, she looks uneasy. What else? Any volunteers? Okay, nervous. That's a right answer. Uneasy, nervous, worried. What else? For me, when I first looked at this photo, I actually thought that she's a runaway bride, right? Because look at her jewelry and look at her hairstyle. We definitely can't see her dress right now, but to me, it appears that this woman is going to attend a formal event. Kasi sino namang a-attend ng casual event na naka-full pearl necklace, di ba? Pahabain niya lang ng konti, medyo marimar na yun. So, naka-earrings, naka-pearl earrings din siya, and as you can see, she's also wearing a full face makeup, which is kind of outdated because hindi naman nauso yung ganong eyeshadow. Ginudge mo talaga yung makeup niya. So anyways, okay, we can assume that the lady in the photo is actually someone who is about to attend a formal event. And if you're not working in an industry that requires you to attend a formal event on a regular basis, let's say meron kayong year-end party sa company and the theme is Gatsby. Okay? So medyo formal yung mga suot nyo. So hindi ka sanay, right? You're unfamiliar with the situation. So somehow you lack confidence. So obviously, the impression that we get from her facial expression is that she lacks confidence. She doesn't look like she's put together because even though she looks pretty and she's wearing the perfect attire, but since she's worried and nervous, definitely she lacks confidence. Okay? I understand because that's exactly how you feel when we're talking about the mock interview. Okay? Kadalasan sa mga feedback ng mga students, I'm nervous. And usually, kapag kausap ko na sila sa coaching, ayun nga, nanginginig-nginig talaga yung mga boses. Nakakalimutan minsan yung gustong sabihin. Alright? So that's actually your demeanor on your very first time attending the coaching session. Yung first, second time mo na makaka-attend ng coaching session, you will lack confidence just because you lack skills and just because you lack familiarity to the activity, okay? So, who is knocking the door? Yes? Right. You have a guess. Just kidding. No. I need you to I need to give you guys a short break right now because I need to assist them. Okay? Okay, let's continue. So, let's talk about the causes of stuttering and fillers. This is one of the common mistakes among test takers. Maraming fillers at nagsastutter during the interview. So for those of you who've already experienced that, especially on your first two sessions, you would normally get feedback from me and Sir Kevin that you've been stuttering a lot during the interview, which is normal because you get nervous, right? You get nervous, no utal-utal because you don't know what to say next. Probably you can't think of an idea. Ideas don't pop into your mind usually, okay? So the cause of stuttering is being uncomfortable and nervous or self-conscious. Am I going to give this answer or should I change it? Is this an appropriate answer? Those questions pop into your mind, which causes the nervousness. Okay? And being self-conscious, did I say it correctly? Did I use the correct verb tense? And means that when you make mistakes, it's normal for you to become very uneasy. Okay? Because you know to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm screwing up. Probably I'm going to get a really bad score. So the solution for this is nothing else, none other than to practice. Okay? As cliche as it may sound, practice makes perfect. Okay? That's why we're encouraging everyone to attend at least 10 coaching sessions before you take your exam. Pay attention to the words at least, meaning 10 or more. Okay? So hanggat hindi ka nakaka-10, huwag ka munang magpakampante na mag-exam. Alright? Take your time because everyone has their own pacing. Maaaring yung iba medyo mabilis mag-progress, yung iba naman hindi. But you can assess yourself. Alright? You can record yourself using your phone's voice memo. And definitely, you can check. It's pag pinakinggan mo yung recording, you will realize, oh, these are the areas where I make mistakes. Okay? Next, we have limited vocabulary. Did I use the appropriate words? Am I using it in an appropriate situation? Okay? So in order for you to not have limited vocabulary, the key is to read more. Okay? What are you going to read? Of course, you have to read intellectual materials. Okay? Be updated with what's happening in the world. Okay? World news, you can read articles, and then you can access some reliable websites such as Engu.com, TED Talk, TED Ed, TED Education. They provide materials which can help you improve your vocabulary. Kasi yung mga links or websites na minention ko, meron silang exercises wherein they introduce new words, they provide the meaning and sample sentences. So definitely you're going to learn a word or two every time you read an article, an educational article, okay? So you can't give what you don't have. So if you don't invest on reading, then most probably it will show in your vocabulary. Okay? So iwasan muna din ang magbasa or manood ng mga palabas na ibang language aside from English. So you have to immerse in the English language. When we say immerse on it, meaning you have to speak the language. You have to speak the language, okay? On a daily basis. So kahit wala kang kausap, go. Talk to yourself in the mirror, most probably. Because I know, sasabihin nyo, wala naman akong makakausap sa sa bahay namin ng English. But for those who do have an accountability partner or a potential accountability partner, then make use of that partner. Okay? Isa pang in-advise ko before sa lecture ko, natatawa ako kasi yung isang student, talagang tinake niya yung advice ko. Sabi ko, okay, mag-download ka ng, ano yung ginagamit ni Ironheart pag nag-content siya? Yung parang video call app or website, hindi siya Omegle eh. Yung isa. But there's this app that you use. Hindi ko kasi ginagamit, so hindi ko alam. So, do you know Ironheart from TikTok? She's making content like she's randomly calling people. Like, nagmamatch kasi. Ganun yun eh. Nagmamatch yung calls, and then you can skip it if you don't like the person. Napaka-judgmental. You can swipe or skip it. And then, halimbawa, meron siyang natapat na kausap niya, foreigner, like Korean. Nire-riz niya kasi kilala siya sa internet or social media as a Riz Queen. Riz, ibig sabihin, parang, di ba, nagpapakilig or something like that. So, ginagamit niya yung ano na yun. Tapos sinasend niya yung country as US or English-speaking country. So, lalabas na dun yung, usually kasi hindi din yun advisable because may mga users na, basta, but that's your way to find a foreign friend. You need to talk to a foreign friend. So, kanina yung kinakausap ko dun, Canadian yung jowa niya. Yung student na nag-enroll. Sabi ko, how long have you been together? A year na daw. So most probably she's using English for a year. Kaya naman sabi ko, I'm confident that you can ace your IELTS exam. Kasi nga, you need to use English on a daily basis para lang ma-familiar ka sa language and to also build your vocabulary. Okay? Does not understand the question, unfamiliar with the topic. All right. So what do you do if you're really in the hot seat? Yung tipong, you know nothing about that topic, pero yun yung natapat sa'yo. Yun talaga yung pinaka nakakatakot sa lahat eh. Yung matanong ka ng tanong na wala kang alam or background about anything, di ba? Paano mo lulusutan ngayon yun? So, hindi naman pwedeng ngitian mo lang si examiner, okay? Hindi nadadaan sa ganun yon. As much as I want that, but it's not like that. So, of course, you have to know what to expect. We are providing PDF files kung saan nakalista lahat ng mga possible questions kasi nire-recycle lang naman ng mga examiners ang mga possible questions na lalabas sa speaking test. So, pinoprovide namin yung mga PDF files na yon through links. Print it out, okay? Print it out and practice them. Okay? Tapos, of course, if you don't understand the question on the first time that it's been asked, what should you do? Ask for repetition, right? But make sure that you're asking for repetition in the kindest, most polite way possible. All right? Kasi ikaw na nga tong hindi mo narinig at nakikisuyo ka, so you have to be polite. All right? Maintain the right amount of professionalism. So you could ask the examiner, could you please repeat the question? Yeah, what is it? Yes, that's right. Okay na, yun na yan. Wala kasi kayong dalawa dito kanina. Alright, so yes, exactly. When you're stuttering, it means nauutal ka, and then yung fillers naman, yung maraming words na yeah, like, Ulit-ulit mo siyang nilalagay sa mga sentences na unnecessary naman. Okay, for example, yeah, I went on vacation, yeah, with my family, and yeah, we had fun. Lagay ka ng yeah kasi parang delaying tactic mo siya, and at the same time, wala kang maisip na word. So that's when fillers happen. And then yung ang dalas ng pagsabi mo ng of course, obviously, that's a sign that you're nervous and not confident. Okay? Pwede rin maging filler yung okay, alright? Sometimes I do that. Okay. Trying not to commit fillers. That's one of the reasons why you commit fillers, because you're trying not to. Being overconscious is also a reason why you are committing fillers. By the way, guys, if you don't understand the question or you're unfamiliar with the topic, what do you think is best to do? Answer the question even though you're not confident with what you're going to say? Or are you going to be honest that you don't know what to say? Or you don't know, you're not aware about that topic? What do you think you should do? The first one or the second one? Definitely, that's the correct answer. You have to resort to being honest with the examiner. Okay? Because, let me remind you, IELTS is not an intellectual test. It doesn't measure how intelligent the test taker is. Eh kung wala nga siyang alam about sa software engineering or sa mga latest na technology, wala siyang alam. It's okay. It's better to just say, I'm sorry, I'm not well educated, or I don't know much about that specific topic. But rest assured, as soon as I get home, I'll do my research and become knowledgeable about it. Di ba mas maganda pakinggan kaysa ipilit mo, sagutin yung tanong, nagkamali-mali ka na sa grammar, sa vocabulary, at sa fluency. 75% of your score, tagilid na. So, ano pa yung natira, di ba? So, definitely, just be honest. And, totoo yun, kasi nangyari na yun sa isa naming student. He's a very intellectual guy. Talino siya. Actually, engineer siya. However, natapat sa kanya yung isang tanong na hindi siya masyadong knowledgeable about. Normal lang naman yun kasi hindi naman lahat ng topic knowledgeable tayo, di ba? May mga topics and issues din naman na hindi pa natin narinig o nabalitaan. So, sabi niya sa akin, right after nung speaking niya, hindi mo na siya umuwi. Sabi niya, ma'am, I'm so worried because inamin ko sa examiner na I don't know much about that topic. So I was not able to answer it. I said, okay, just chill. Let's wait 24 hours. Pero feel ko, you're still gonna get a high score in your speaking test kasi nga magpataas lagi na kukuha niya sa coaching. So yun, he got an 8.5 even though inamin niya, he was honest, that he didn't know how to answer that question or he was not aware about that specific topic. Okay? Unable to think words, unable to link words, phrases, and sentences to form an idea. Okay, link means connect. Okay? Connect, you can connect ideas by using linking words. Kasi yung mga bata, kapag na early stages pa lang sila, they just complete one sentence at a time. Okay? For example, what's your favorite hobby? I like basketball. Basketball is fun. I play basketball with my friends. Walang linking words doon. And it sounds awkward. It doesn't sound natural, right? But if you say it like this, what's your favorite hobby? Well, I do have a long list of hobbies, but my favorite is playing basketball. Because basketball is such a fun team sport. I get a chance to play with my friends, and I also get the chance to showcase my talent, my skills in playing basketball. O, di ba, ginamitan ko siya ng transition words. Also, because, yun lang naman yun. Yun yung mga transition words that I'm pertaining to. Kesa naman, hindi maganda pakinggan, hindi natural pakinggan kung sentence by sentence lang yung sasabihin mo. Okay? So these are the common linking words or discourse markers. When introducing opinions, you have I guess, I think, I believe. All right? For example, the question is, what can you say about the traffic congestion in your country? I think Philippines, specifically in Metro Manila, has the worst traffic in the world. Second to Vietnam. Charis. Oo nga daw, sa Vietnam, sobrang heavy din daw ng traffic doon. Okay, so how about the question is, okay, let's talk about flowers. Do you like flowers? Yes, I do. In fact, my favorite flower is a rose. What can you say about flowers given as gifts? So, di ba tinatanong yung opinion mo? What can you say? So you can say, well, I guess giving flowers as a gift is very complimenting. And I feel flattered whenever I'm given flowers as a gift. Even though at first I actually thought that it was a waste of money. But nowadays, I really think that getting flowers, receiving a bouquet of flowers, is such a romantic gesture. Diba? Next, introducing reasons. In IELTS speaking, you always have to aim to expound. Meaning, hindi isang tanong, isang sagot. For example, can you tell me about your family? O, isipin mo muna, anong family ba pinag-uusapan natin dito? Yung asawa at anak ko ba? Or yung parents ko at saka mga kapatid? Dun pa lang, nalito ka na. Alright? So, definitely, you have to mention your immediate family. If you're not yet married, or you're not living with a common law partner, live-in partner, among Filipinos know that term as live-in partner. Kung wala pa naman, and you're living with your parents, you talk about them, your parents, your siblings. But if you're already married or have a common law partner, you talk about your own family now. Okay? All right, so do you enjoy spending time with your family? Yes, I do. Commonly, yun lang talaga yung isasagot mo. Pero kung interested ka makipag-usap sa tao, you're gonna tell more, right? Yes, I do love spending time with my family. Because ever since my mom passed away, I realized that time is gold. Biglang naging ano na, no? Okay, totoo yun, time is gold. And probably you can say, and that experience helped me realize the importance of family because they were there for me during the most hard times in my life. Okay? Introducing results of something. All right. Do you prefer public transport or private transport? I prefer public transport because as of now, for me, that's the most convenient way. Because having your own vehicle is costly. You have to pay for gas, the maintenance of the car, the way ina-expound mo yung ideas mo. So, I prefer public transport. Yan. Introducing results of something. So, parang nagbigay ka muna ng reasons and then at the end, you reiterate the fact that you prefer public transport. Okay? Uncertain, if you're uncertain, okay? May mga tanong kasi na hypothetical. For example, How do you see yourself after 10 years? Or if, let's say, the topic is social life, how's your social life? How can you describe your social life today? And then your follow-up question, examiner. How do you think your social life will be after 10 years? So, gagamitan mo siya ng maybe, possibly, probably, alright? So, I'm in my 30s now. After 10 years, I'm gonna be in my 40s. So, most probably, I see myself as a stay-at-home wife, taking care of the kids, and zero social life. I'm just kidding. Anything. Depende sa yon kung ano yung nakikita mo sa sarili mo after 10 years, okay? But yeah, how do you use it? You can say maybe, probably, okay? Ideas lack organization. Ito yung madalas na sinasabi ko sa mga students. Kulang ng organization. Your answers are confusing, your answers are repetitive, okay? So, you have to know how to organize your ideas. Una, think of an answer that kaya mong panindigan. Alright? Because let's say the question is, what's your favorite food? If you mention Filipino food, you will end up describing it because a foreigner would definitely not know what pakbet is, right? Or sinigang, right? Unless you want to be in the hot seat. Sige, go. Isagot mo sinigang. Pero tititigan ka ng examiner because the examiner doesn't know what it is. You should put in your mind na hindi ganun ka-special ang mga Pilipino para alam ng lahat ng sinigang. Okay? So, might as well mention answers that are generally known by the public. For example, fried chicken, roasted chicken, pizza, pasta, spaghetti. Those foods are, mas magandang choice siya kasi you can explain it clearly and definitely hindi ka magsa-struggle. Hindi mawawala ng organization yung thoughts mo, right? But there are some techniques on how you can organize your ideas. So first we have the chronological order. Do you guys know what chronological means? So the word chrono comes from the Greek language. It's a Greek word which means time. So logical, it follows a logical order. So time order, chronological order. It means this is applicable when you're talking about your daily routine. Kasi paaring itanong yun sa exam. Describe your daily routine. Of course, you're gonna describe what's happening in the morning first, not what's your evening routine, diba? Kasi nga chronological order. But should you be mentioning all the bits of details about your morning routine? Hindi naman. You can just give general answers. For example, I start my morning with a cup of coffee. And after that, I would do some hygienic activities such as brushing my teeth, skincare. And then I would probably read a book after because I like starting my day with a fresh start. In the afternoon, after lunch, I'll prepare for my evening classes since I work from home. Most of the time, I just stay home. So I prepare for my evening classes in the afternoon. Sometimes when I have luxury of time, I play with my nephew or my nieces. And then in the evening, since I have online classes, I spend most of the time teaching online. Then dinner, skincare routine again, and sleep, and bedtime, of course. Ganun lang, okay? Chronological order. Now, let's talk about the spatial order. Hindi the special it's spatial. Magkaiba yung special sa spatial. So, from the word itself, it talks about space. So, when we say spatial order, it simply means if the examiner asks you, do you live in a home or an apartment? A house or an apartment? So usually most Filipinos would say house, diba? Pero marami din namang living in an apartment. There's nothing wrong with that. But usually most of my students would say house. I-describe mo ngayon yung house nyo. Umpisahan mo muna sa exterior. Wala naman kami kung nagpasok ng bahay namin, yun na agad yun. Okay, the wag. So, let's talk about yung exterior muna. Usually kasi Filipino homes have a terrace or a porch, alright? So, you can say that general info muna bago mag-specific So, I live in a house. It's a 2-story house which has 4 bedrooms, 2 toilets, and a kitchen. And we also have 2 living areas. Our house is not very modern, but not very old looking as well. We have a veranda on the first floor and the second floor. And we have a small garage wherein I decorated it with some plants. Because since I don't really go out on weekdays, I still have a chance to get some fresh air. Yeah. And then the first thing that you will see when you enter our house is our living area, which is my favorite place in our house because we have a large TV and comfortable space to accommodate guests. So whenever I invite my friends or family, we spend most of our quality time there. And another favorite room that I have in my house is definitely my bedroom because that's where I spend most of my time there, and it's the most quiet place in our house since it's far from the outdoor noise caused by our neighbors. Okay? So yun yung spatial order. So, umpisahan mo muna i-describe yung exterior ng bahay mo, yung general facts, and then move on sa interior. Hindi mo naman kailangan bawat detail i-explain mo sa interior. Yung mga special features lang. Okay? Kasi ang natanong din sa akin dun sa IELTS exam is about sa house din. And then tinanong ako, what do you think is your house's most special feature? Okay? So, pag ganun yung tanong, ano yung maiisip nyo? Ano yung special feature ng bahay nyo? Could be the chandelier. Yeah, what is it? You were gonna say something. What is it? Okay. Ako ang sinagot ko doon, indoor plants. Because it adds to the aesthetic of the home. And it's a good source of oxygen. And definitely, it's a special part of our house since my mom was the one who took care of those plants. So I'm trying my best to keep them alive. Uy, ang hirap pag hindi ka green thumb Minsan nga nakakalimutan kong But anyways, buhay pa naman sila. An update, my mom passed away last year, but the plants are still alive. Good job to me, right? So we have causal order, cause and effect. Okay, what are the causes? What are the effects? What do you think is the reason? No. Describe the seasons in the Philippines. Yeah, definitely. We're in our rainy season now, right? Kala ko nga kanina parang makakancel ba yung mga classes? Na kaya ako pumasok yung mga ganun. Yung mga ganun na naisip ko kanina eh. What do you think causes the flooding in the Philippines? Ayun, napaka-environmentalist naman. Illegal logging. Yeah, that's true. Illegal logging, lack of proper waste segregation, and ano yung tawag kapag yung mga drainage? Lack of draining system. Draining system. Ano? Ano tawag yung pag hindi maayos yung drainage system? Drainage system. So, in the Philippines, one of the causes of flooding is lack of a systematized drainage and lack of budget. Di ba? Di ba totoo naman? Lack of budget talaga yun kasi kinura ko talaga. Charot. No to negativity. Okay, so huwag tayo magpakanega during the interview Positive vibes only. Pwede mo din naman sabihin since problem solution nga yung atake okay? So maybe one of the topics could be, I heard that the Philippines is one of the countries who are overpopulated. What do you think are the problems adhered by overpopulation? Nasa overpopulation na tayo. Bakit nasa rainy season ka pa rin? Feel na feel mo kasi hindi naman naka-hoodie siya. Actually, nalamig na ako. What? Silang dalawa lang, i-share niyo naman. Ano yan? Okay. Let's move on. Problem solution order. It's quite similar to causal order. You're just gonna mention that stuff. Okay. And topical order. So you have a specific topic and you're going to provide subtopics to further explain what you want to say, okay? Let's say your topic is Alright, so communication. What are the communication barriers? So there are instances that wherein the examiner asks about migrating to another country and not being able to speak the language in that country. So what do you think are the communication barriers among Filipino overseas workers? Overseas Filipino workers. Communication barriers could be, tas maglatag ka ng 3 points. Explain each, give examples, organize pakinggan, di ba? Ano nga ba yung communication barriers? Okay, so we have language differences. Because communication is not just about language. Communication can also be about cultural differences and technological limitations. Meron din tinatawag na emotional barriers. Homesickness, loneliness, or stress, making open communication difficult. Okay, so yun yung ang topic natin is communication barriers among OFWs. So under that, topical order, you're gonna talk about language barriers, you're gonna talk about emotional barriers, and cultural differences. So, okay, sabihin natin tatlo lang na yun. And explain mo lang briefly each. Magbigay ka ng example if you've experienced it, or probably kung may kilala kang naka-experience na nun, right? So there, that's how you organize your thoughts when you are answering, okay? So another common mistake is hesitation and self-correction. So what are the factors which would make you hesitate during the interview? First of all, focusing too much on vocabulary and grammar. Overconscious ka na magkamali sa vocab mo at sa grammar. It happens a lot. So you have to be more forgiving. Okay? Ibig sabihin, pag nagkakamali ka during the interview, just let go. Okay? Huwag mo na masyadong dibdibin yung namali ka lang ng he tsaka she. Masyado mo lang dinibdib, hindi. Wala ka nang patinong nasabi during the interview. Tapos parang iniisip-isip, ano, nagkamali na ako. Minus points na yun, ganyan. Commit to your answers and do not make mistakes obvious. Let's say you make a pronunciation mistake. You're talking about your neighbor. Talk about a kind neighbor. I don't really have kind neighbors still. Okay. I'm not very friendly with all my neighbors because we're living in the digital era, meaning most of the people are at home, spending time indoors rather than socializing with their neighbors. But there is one specific neighbor that stands out, and his name is Edward Cullen. Just kidding. Edward. So, see, Edward, let's talk about Edward. He is a wonderful man. He's tall, check, dark, and handsome. She is also very caring to his neighbors. He offers help whenever he feels like we need help. So nagkamali ako sa pronoun. Ginamitan ko siya ng she, and lalaki si Edward. In that case, wag marattle. Okay lang yon. I-correct mo na lang sa susunod mong sentence, okay? And, of course, commit to your answers. Meaning, kung ano yung unang nag-pop sa isip mo, at na-filter out mo naman siya, and you were like, okay, this answer, kaya mo itong i-prolong, kaya mo i-expound. Okay? Kagaya ng, what's your favorite sport? Or, most probably, one of the questions could be, what sport you've never tried, but you're looking forward to try? So, medyo mahirap ba? Especially kung ang sagot mo ay golf. Or especially if ang sagot mo is equestrian. Hindi mo kasi siya ma-explain ng maayos because you're lacking vocabulary that would help you explain those topics. Alright? So, mas okay siguro kung sasabihin mo na lang, badminton. At least alam mo yung name ng mga equipment na kailangan gamitin for badminton, right? Aware ka sa mga words and definitely aware ka sa mechanics ng games. Unlike pag ang sinagot mo is equestrian or golf, you're gonna put yourself in a very difficult situation because you don't know the mechanics of the sport, and you don't know what the equipments are used in that sport. So, mahirapan ka. Ano nga tawag dun sa golf? Yung sa pinapalo na gano'n. Ano naman tawag dun sa golf club tawag? Stick naman. Okay, so it's actually called the golf club. Yung golf club, yun na mismo yung area, yung venue. Pero golf club din tawag sa pangpalo na gano'n. And then, ano naman tawag dun sa yung hole? Diba? So, since you don't know what the words are, you're gonna have a hard time describing it. Unlike if you say volleyball, there's a sport that I've been wanting to try, but I haven't really tried it. It's volleyball. It's very easy to play. You just need a volleyball and a net. Actually, you can even play it at the beach. You don't need to be professional when playing it because it's actually a fun recreational sport. Yun, di ba? Ang dali lang i-explain kasi volleyball is so easy. Changing answers in the middle of speaking. True story. True story. Unang tanong ko pa lang sa test taker. Sabi ko, hi, can you tell me your name, please? And di ba yung mga Pilipino, usually, ang daming pangalan. Mark, Anthony, David. Di ba? So, nalito siya ngayon. Ano yung sasabihin niya sa examiner? Kasi, ang kadugtong niya, you can call me. Di ba? Unlike yung name ko lang naman is Shannon. Hi! I'm Shannon S. Tino. You can call me Shannon for short. Or you can call me Shannon. You can call me Shan for short. So, wag mo lang lituhin si examiner. If ang pangalan mo ay tatlo or dalawa, pili ka lang nung madaling i-pronounce ni examiner. Okay? Baka naman kasi ang palayaw mo sa inyo, Bebang. Tapos sabihin mo kay examiner, you can call me Bebang, di ba? Hindi maganda pakinggan. So, if your name, just say that, kasi di ba kasi, for example, yun nga yung nickname mo sa bahay nyo. So, wag mo nang i-disclose yung kay examiner kasi hindi sila familiar sa Filipino terms, di ba? So, just, mahirap na nga yung mga ibang Filipino names, mahihirapan mo pa siya sa nickname. So, si Mark Anthony David, nalito siya kung anong nickname ang gusto niyang sabihin during the interview. So, sabi niya, my name is Mark David Francisco. Mark Anthony David Francisco. Sabi niya, you can call me David. Oh, no. You can call me Mark. So, nagkalituhan na nga. Sabi ko, in that case, make up your mind. Kung ano yung talaga gusto mong itawag sa'yo ng examiner. And make sure na akma sa audibility ni examiner. Kasi, yun nga, hindi sila sanay sa mga Filipino nicknames. For them, it's awkward. Bibigyan mo lang sila ng hihirapan mo lang yung sitwasyon. Okay? So don't change your answers in the middle of speaking, especially pag ang tanong is, do you agree or disagree? So bandang una sabi niya agree siya, bandang dulo, ay, I disagree pala. No, you have to be consistent with your answers, okay? Answering with yes or no, responding to questions using one word or sentence. Okay, kung gusto mong huwag makapasa sa speaking test, gawin mo yan. Yes. Do you like listening to music? Yes. Do you like watching movies? Yeah. Do you enjoy traveling? No. Diba? Ganun yung example ng hindi ka talaga makakapasa sa IELTS. You need to come up with 2 to 3 sentences on task 1, 3 to 4 sentences on 2 minutes speech on task 2, and 3 to 4 sentences on task 3. Okay? So never ever answer with just yes or no. Lagi mong bibigyan ng reason such as because, all right? For example, the question is, do you usually go out at night? Yes. I consider myself as a night owl, so I'm awake most of the time at night. I don't know why. So, night owl nga, meaning sanay nga na sa gabi gising, diba? So, whenever I'm still awake at night, sometimes I go out with my friends, we have a few drinks. Or sometimes we stay at a coffee shop and catch up with each other. Yan. Sino dito malapit sa Gapan City? Okay. Ikaw lang pala. Joke lang. I'm just kidding. So, alam niyo ba yung Better Coffee? Nakapunta ka na doon? No. It's actually dulo na siya ng Gapan kasi sa Nicolas, yung Arco, malapit. Yun. Sobrang sikat ng coffee shop na yun kasi very Siargao vibes. Outdoorsy.
Yung all those food ba? Yung sisigas.
Yeah, feeling ko bukas pa rin naman siya hanggang ngayon. Pero, di kasi ako doon nagpupunta eh. Pero feeling ko nga bukas pa siya. Nadadaanan namin pero hindi ko alam if operational pa siya. Okay. No structure on speaking task 2. Let's talk about speaking task 2. You will be given only a minute to prepare for an answer. So, sa scratch paper na ipoprovide, you don't need to copy the questions anymore. What you have to write down on that piece of paper is just keywords. Okay? Yung mga ayaw, hindi mo, yung mga words na para hindi mo makalimutan yung gusto mong sabihin. Okay? But don't write sentences. 1 minute is not enough. And hindi ganun yung atake nun. Kailangan spontaneous kang makipag-usap during task 2. And, para malaman mo, if umabot ka na sa 2 minutes, you have to wait for the examiner to say, okay, now let's move on to the last part of your IELTS test. Hanggat hindi ka niya ine-interrupt, huwag kang tumigil magsagot sa task 2. Okay? But of course, you have to keep your answers relevant. Alright? You have to keep your answers relevant to the questions. Hindi yung porket hindi ka pa ini-stop ni examiner kung ano na yung nasabi mo. Sample. Sample task 2 question. I'll need one from here. Just give me a sec. Alright, so ito yung task 2 sample. Recall an instance when you gave someone a gift. What gift was it? To whom did you give the gift? Why did you choose to give that particular gift? Do you think the gift was appreciated? So yun yung task card sa task 2. So sino pwedeng mag-timer? Can you please check if aabot na ng 2 minutes? Okay, ayan si Irish na. So if your answers are personal experiences, actually personal experience talaga yung nire-require sa task na to. What am I saying? So, the more personal it is, the better. Para mas ma-explain mo siya ng maayos. Okay, let's start. Give me a cue. Start na. Okay. Alright, so I consider myself as someone whose love language is gift giving. I'm not meaning to brag, but I'm kind of a generous kind of friend. I love giving gifts because, well, in fact, I love receiving them as well. So there was one time I gave a gift to my mom. She was living in another country at that time. We were thousands of miles away, but it was her birthday, so I decided to surprise her with a bouquet of flowers. My mom is the most special person in my life, and she would always make me feel special when it's my birthday. So I decided to give back to her during her birthday. And I did not regret that decision because she loves flowers so much. She had no idea she'd receive flowers that day because I was in the Philippines at that time. And she is a very sentimental person, so that's why I chose flowers. Because even though it's not a very expensive gift, since she's very sentimental and she values those kinds of gestures, I'm sure that she appreciated that. And of course, attached with the bouquet was a small note that I left her, telling her that I miss her and I love her. And I feel like that kind of gift would remain in her memory for the rest of her life. And I feel like even though the shipping fee was a little bit expensive, it didn't really matter because what matters is how I made her feel special during her special day. Nakatumilis na ako. O, diba? Akala ko lang na mabilis yung 2 minutes, pero ba tapos? Parang gano'n, diba? So, you need to practice. You need to practice. And make sure that you'll be able to answer all the bullet questions in task 2. Getting off topic. Ay, hindi pa pala. Short answers. Yan, okay. Hindi ko pa pala na-click. Getting off topic, madalas nangyayari to. Hindi mo pwedeng baguhin yung topic just because hindi ka comfortable sa topic na tinanong ni examiner, okay? So, kailangan panindigan mo na lang din yung sagot mo, alright? So, talking too much and getting carried away. May mga estudyante na sobrang haba talaga ng sagot. Like, minsan, I feel na hindi ko alam kung paano sila i-interrupt. So, sinasabi ko na lang sa feedback na huwag ganon. Kasi, of course, tadyahin mo lang din. 2 to 3 sentences sa task 1. At kung nabigay mo naman na lahat ng important points na gusto mo, then it's not necessary to add any more information. Pero yun nga, it's much better for you to expound your answers on task 1 kesa naman dumami yung mga tanong. Okay? By the way, sa mga first timer, ang interview is ideally 12 to 15 minutes. Kung maka 7 to 8 minutes ka lang sa interview, that's a very bad sign. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, maiksi lang yung mga sagot mo, kaya natapos agad yung interview. So, when you're getting off topic, make sure that you answer the questions in 3 to 4 sentences, but I don't want you to be restricted with this format. Okay? Talk as much as you can. Hanggang sa hindi siya the next question, go lang. Okay? We're going to talk about the common mistakes with vocabulary and lexical resource. Yes?
May pagkakataon ba na pag sumagot na kahit may sinasabihin na may sulat na malilit na gusto mo yung sagot, mas mo kahit hindi ka malilit.
Example.
Wala rin po tatanong ako ng simple question, tapos yun na yung gusto mo malilit na sagot. Okay, sorry.
Hindi rin. Kasi ang goal talaga sa speaking test is you expound your ideas. So, hindi mo lang ipoprovide yung sagot, pero bibigay mo din yung dahilan. At kung pwede, magbigay ka din ng example. Alright? Because it's not just about what your answer is, it's actually how you say it and how you present your sentences. Kasi, chine-check, ina-assess kung paano ka mag-construct ng sentences. Ina-assess yung grammar mo, ina-assess yung vocabulary mo. So, hindi lang porket, yun na yung tamang sagot, yun na yun. Kasi baka mamaya, nasagot mo lang siya ng 1 word or ng 1 sentence.
Hindi ako, siya pumunta sa akin na okay.
Anong sasabihin niya?
Nasabihin siguro, that's too much.
No, hindi naman ganun makipag-usap si examiner. Wala na lang kung nakakapikon ka talaga. Charot lang. That's too much. Joke. I-interrupt ka niya. Hindi niya sasabing that's too much. Interrupt ka niya with the next question. So, just like what Sir Kevin is doing, na-try niya na magpa-coaching sa kanya. Yung tipong hindi ka pa tapos sinasabi mo, may next question na siya. Diba? He does that. Lalo na kung naboboringan siya sa'yo. Just kidding. So, para maiwasan yung misuse of words, you should avoid complex or highfalutin words. So let me make this clear. First of all, kung tingnan muna natin yung level mo as a speaker. If you were an advanced student, advanced speaker of the English language, and yung range ng vocabulary mo naman is akma sa level mo, it's okay to use complex words kung yun yung best way for you to express your thoughts. Pero kung yung level mo is beginner or intermediate level, tapos medyo out of the blue, gumamit ka ng highfalutin words, yun na yung medyo tagilid. Okay? So, nakadepende yun sa level mo as an English speaker kung pwede ka bang gumamit ng complex or highfalutin words. Because if hindi pa naman ganun kataas yung level mo sa speaking, and you opt for difficult words, the tendency is you get confused. Did I use it correctly? Ginamit ko ba siya sa akmang pagkakataon? Or na-pronounce ko ba ito ng maayos? Kasi highfalutin words or complex words are actually difficult to pronounce. So malilito ka. It will cause confusion. And definitely it will cause misuse of words. Okay? Next we have repeated use of specific words. So this is an indicator that you don't have a competitive vocabulary bank. So if you know to yourself that you don't have an enriched vocabulary bank, what should you do? Read more and practice more. Isang technique na tinuturo ko sa mga students is anticipate the questions on task 1. Alright? So the questions on task 1 are revolving around you. Your likes, your dislikes, your interests, family, studies, career. So you have to be knowledgeable about the words that can be associated to your hobbies, to your interests. Whether it's music, whether it's other entertainment things or sports, kailangan alamin mo yung cluster of words that are associated sa possible na maisagot mo. Madali lang yun sa task 1 kasi nga, di ba? Paulit-ulit lang din naman yung mga tanong doon. So, definitely, alam mo na agad kung ano yung mga areas ng vocabulary na dapat mong i-improve, right? Overuse of transition signals, such as the words, madalas mong sabihin yung word na and. Ang tendency kasi pag lagi kang gamit ng word na and, hindi na natatapos yung sentence mo. May mga ganun na cases eh. What do you like to do on your free time? On my free time, I like staying home. And I also enjoy watching K-drama. And I also like cooking at home, especially on a rainy day. And I also like spending time with my dogs. O, diba? Hindi na natapos yung sentence kasi gamit ka ng and. You have to make sure that you finish the sentence and move on to the next. Okay? So don't overuse transition signals. Other transition signals could also be to and also what else? Mga Filipino mahilig gumamit ng adverbs such as very, really, I really, really like it. Isa na lang talaga, charot. Or yung word na very, di ba? Yung word na very, sobrang dalas itong gamitin. So actually, you have to be more precise with the words that you're gonna use. For example, I am very sick right now. So you can say, I am severely ill. Di ba? Medyo maganda pakinggan kasi you use the exact word, severely ill. So, hindi mo ginamit yung, I'm very, very sick. Something like that. Okay, parroting the examiner. Ito yung ginagaya mo lang yung tanong. What's your favorite food? My favorite food is, so, masyadong generic yun. Avoid that. Maybe you could change it a little bit and say, I am actually a foodie and I appreciate different kinds of cuisines, such as Italian cuisine, Korean cuisine, and Japanese cuisine. So, among those 3, my favorite is the Italian cuisine, and my favorite food is pasta. O, diba? Nilagyan ko siya ng introduction, hindi ko lang sinabi, my favorite food is blah, blah, blah. Okay. Standard introduction, yun nga, yung you're not putting that much effort in introducing your topic. Murmuring in Filipino. Nangayon, or ano naman sabihin yun? Tapos kung ano-ano binubulong mo, sa tingin mo ba hindi naririnig ni examiner yun? Naririnig niya yun at saka recorded din yun. Naku, ba hindi ko alam. Mga ganun may minsan binubulong ng mga estudyante eh. So, I always remind my students, whenever you're in the coaching session or the mock interview, you have to treat it like a real interview. Kasi kung ano yung makakasanayan nyo during the mock interview, baka kasi yun yung gawin mo during the actual interview. So, ngayon pa lang, i-train na natin yung sarili natin na maging professional and take it seriously. Okay? So, don't speak any Filipino words. Actually, may napanood akong interview from a YouTube channel at tinanong talaga siya kung anong favorite food niya. Sabi niya, adobo talaga. Tapos hindi niya describe. Nakapasa naman siya. So, sabi ko, bakit siya nagsabi ng adobo dun sa interview? So, parang etong si IELTS examiner or coach, feeling ko kasi ang tagal na niya ding nakapag-interview ng mga Pinoy. So, by now, alam na niya yung adobo. So, parang pinalusot na lang niya yung instance na yun. However, huwag natin gawing practice, okay? Because it might be a liability when it comes to your vocabs. Pero paano yun, ma'am? Eh, hindi ko na talaga maiwasan na kapag sabi na ako ng Filipino word. Okay? So, minsan kasi nakakapagsabi tayo ng sari-sari store. What do you do? Are you studying or working? I stay home and I have my own sari-sari store. Biglang ganun eh, no? So, ano ba sa Tagalog, sa English yung sari-sari store? Wala siyang exact translation, pero pwede mo namang sabihin that I'm an entrepreneur. Ang ganda pakinggan, no? I'm an entrepreneur and I have my own mini grocery store at home. Pwede ganun. Pero huwag sari-sari store, ah. Hindi nila alam yun talaga. Yung mga minimension ko sa inyo mga examples ng Filipino utterances, base lang to sa mga na-experience kong students, ah. Hindi ko to naisip lang. Yun talaga yung mga sinasagot nila. Kasi nga, hindi nga ma-translate sa English. Ano pa ba? Murmuring in Filipino. At saka iwasan nyo na rin yung po, opo. You don't need to say that. And you don't need to address your coach as ma'am or sir during the interview. Kasi it's not necessary. Okay? You can be polite without saying ma'am and sir. Okay? Tapos na tayo sa vocabs. Nandito na tayo sa common mistakes with grammar. But what time is it, first of all? 11:39. We still have time. Okay, so let's talk about the common mistakes in grammar. So I want to emphasize the fact that we are living in a gender-neutral society. Meaning, hindi na common ngayon na kapag hindi mo alam yung gender ng tinutukoy, gagamitin mo agad automatically yung masculine, which is him, he, or his. Dati kasi ganon. Pero matagal nang hindi. Kasi nga, we're in a gender-neutral society. And we have to practice gender equality. Okay? Kasi, pantay-pantay na tayo ngayon, alright? Women are also empowered. Kung dati, men were the only ones who were empowered, now even women are empowered. Because, in fact, we can do things that men can also do, right? What? Grabe naman to. Yung mga examples niya talaga. May hugot eh, no? Okay ka lang? Cheating talaga. Alright, so next we have common causes of grammatical errors is unfinished sentences or incomplete sentences. Okay? Never answer in incomplete sentences. You have to always make sure. You have to make sure that you're making complete sentences as you speak. Okay? For example, the question is, who's your favorite music artist?
Yeah.
Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga daw. Uy, magaling si Lady Gaga. Kakatapos nilang mag-concert sa Singapore. Nag-world tour ba si Lady Gaga nowadays? Grabe. Kasi my friend went to Lady Gaga's concert. So, pinanood ko yung stories niya sa Instagram. Ang ganda ng production, grabe. It's out of this world. Anyways, let's go back to our topic. Who's your favorite music artist?
Ito
Celine Dion. Let's say Celine Dion. Huwag tayong mag-mention ng Filipino music artist like Parokyan Edgar or Kamikaze because it won't ring a bell sa isip ng examiner. It won't ring a bell means hindi yun familiar sa kanila. Okay? Hindi nila yun alam. So, ang ending, magdi-describe ka na naman. Kamikaze is a Filipino band who's famous for, ano nga yung genre ng Kamikaze? Rock music. They were famous in the 1990s. Charot, 2000 pala. Okay? So, finish your sentences. So, hindi lang sasabihin, my favorite music artist is Celine Dion. Sabihin mo din, why? Why is Celine Dion your favorite music artist? Her music is universal. It is famous throughout all cultures. And definitely, until now, her music is being played in many radios, parties, and in video key sessions, right? So, yun. And, may isa pa. Mahilig yung mga test takers leaving the sentence hanging na parang may kasunod pa. So, wag ganun na. Tapusin, yung intonation mo, it matters as well. Make it sound like you're done talking, okay? Don't make it sound like may kadugtong pa yung sasabihin mo. May mga test taker kasi na, for example, my favorite music artist is Celine Dion. I like her because she's very talented. Tapos yun na, tinapos na. Di ba parang feeling mo may kasunod pa? So, tapusin mo ng maayos. I like her because she's very talented. Alright? There you go. Okay, let's take a look at this example sentence. This focuses on subject-verb agreement. You have to make sure that your subject agrees with your verb. Meaning, if it's a singular subject, the verb must also be in singular form. And if it's a plural subject, the verb must also be in plural form. So let's read it. William is a sports enthusiast. He liked play basketball. Can you correct this sentence? Yun lang ba yung error na dapat nating i-correct? Sige, pag-isipan nyo muna, bibigyan ko kayo ng time. Let me just get a water break. Okay, so let's check. William is a sports enthusiast. He likes to play or playing. He likes to play basketball, period. So may punctuation error din. Kasi walang period. Okay, he likes to play basketball or he likes playing basketball. Next, inappropriate personal pronouns. My father is a businessman and what's the right answer? He knows how to make money. Okay. Nouns and pronouns contradict in number. Okay, this one. I want you to identify the mistakes here. I think students should not be forced to do unpaid work for the community because he should be enjoying his life. So our subject is students. Plural or singular? It's plural form. May ese. Okay? Students should not be forced. So, ang tamang pronoun na gagamitin ay they should be enjoying their lives. Okay? Their lives. There is T-H-E-I-R. Hindi yung T-H-E-E-R. E. Okay? Next is prepositions. I enjoyed studying statistics back on my college days. Kung tutusin, parang tama lang naman or wala namang mali dito sa sentence na to, but it's actually wrong. Ano yung tamang preposition na dapat gamitin dyan? Huh? Yes, the correct answer is in. Okay, you only use the preposition on when you're pertaining to an exact date. All right? When is your birthday? Yeah, you. Muntik na maging 28. Leap year? You pinanganak ka ng leap year? Okay. Pipilitin ko talaga 28. Okay, so your birthday is on February 27. What year? Okay, let's say na lang 1992. Hinatanda. Ha? 1999 ka talaga? Actually, kala ko nga 1992 eh. Okay, let's do the math. So how old are you now? Ano? What? 26? 26 ka na? We all thought you were born in 1992, right? 1992. Okay, so when there's an exact date, you put the preposition on, okay? The graduation is on April 2nd of this year. But if there's no specific date, you use in, okay? When are you flying back to the Philippines? I'll be there in July. So wala akong mention na any date sa July. Basta babalik ako ng Pilipinas ng July. Hulaan mo na lang kung kailan ganun. Okay, surprise! Ganun. Alright. And of course, we use on when we're pertaining to time. Okay? Class starts, wait lang, time, not time. At kasi pag time eh. Class starts at 9:30. So, pag sinabi mo namang in the evening, at night, okay ba yun, okay? In the evening, at night, in the morning, in the afternoon. Okay. Yeah, when you're talking about days, you also use the preposition on. Okay. So in order for you to avoid making grammatical errors, you have to always think in English. Okay? So isipin mo na yung tanong and yung sagot in English in your head para when you speak, it's easier. Okay? I don't know. What about you guys? Whenever you speak in English, do you first think in Filipino or English na agad? English, right? Or iniisip niyo muna siya sa Tagalog? Mm.
Then I can stop.
Okay, I see. So ako kasi automatic na English ko siya naiisip. Siguro kasi, well, siguro kasi ever since I was a kid, I could speak English already. So that's the reason. But it's okay kasi kung hindi mo nga part ng daily life mo ang English, maaring hindi mo maisip in English pa. But that's okay. Okay, we're down to the last part at bibilisan lang natin at alam kong probably you guys want to eat lunch, right? By the way, sino dito makaka-attend tomorrow ng one-on-one coaching? Great, buti naman. Kasi yung mga gusto magpa-coaching today after the lecture, you can stay here. Pero wag na sana magbago yung isip niyo, ha? Bukas na kayo, bukas na kayo. What? Ay? What is there? Well, for you, meron.
Ang tanong ko kasi talaga dapat makipakain.
Ay? Yeah, sure. You can buy me coffee. You can buy me coffee. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, kasama na yun sa review fee mo. Yung coaching. Attend ka lang. And in your case, never ka pa ata naka-attend ng coaching eh. So tomorrow, you have to be here before 9. Kasi mga 9:30 dating ni Sir Kevin. Or pag tinotoyo siya, aagahan niya. So, yun. I'm glad na walang gusto magpa-coaching today. Kasi ibig sabihin, uwi na ako agad. No, bukas na kayo. In your case, I'm not gonna accept this. Baka mapraning tayo dito.
Excited po mga.
No, nothing. Okay, so here we have pronunciation. Ito yung sinasabi ko, guys, na short I vowel sound and long E vowel sound. Kagaya ng word na bitch and beach. You can actually interchange those. So, minsan pag namali ka ng pag-pronounce nun, you might be interpreted as saying something bad. So, we don't want that, okay? So, let's have a quick practice. Pero kung gusto niyo ng intricate lesson about pronunciation, meron tayong separate lecture for pronunciation, pero hindi siya this week. Probably next week. Okay? So let's just practice the words listed here. First, we have rich. Say it after me. Rich. Reach. Kung mapapansin nyo yung long E vowel sound, you have to instantly smile and show your teeth. Okay? Rich, reach. Sap, zap. Pale and pale. Pale, pale. Okay, so guys, ito yung mga common na mispronounce ng mga Filipinos, ha? Kasi, halimbawa, sabihin, which country are you from? I'm from the Philippines. Hindi ganun na. I'm from the Philippines. Alright? And of course, yung consonant sound, the B and V. Ban and van. Alright? So, magkaiba yun. One of the reasons why we don't encourage you to speak too fast during the interview is because it causes a lot of pronunciation lapses. Okay? So we have the words when you're too excited or too nervous, you tend to mispronounce words. Kasi mabilis kang magsalita. So the solution is take deep breaths and find another way for you to release tension. And one of those, the most effective ways to release tension is to use your hand gestures. Okay? Because when you're using hand gestures, you're actually releasing stress and tension. And it's an indicator that someone is an intelligent person when the person can speak and use hand gestures simultaneously. Biglang gumamit ng hand gestures. No, I'm just kidding. Well, yun nga. Totoo yun. It's an indicator that someone is an intelligent person or an eloquent speaker when the person actually uses hand gestures when speaking. And of course, as I said earlier, body language is also a way of communicating. So during the interview, don't slouch. Don't put your hands, halukit-kit ba tawag doon, yung nakaganon. Crossed arms. Yeah, don't do that. Because you might appear mayabang or arrogant, okay? And of course, good body posture. And pag-usapan natin yung outfit. Okay? So you have to wear smart casual. For men and women, it's advisable for you to wear something na may color. Color, hindi color, okay? You can wear any color you want, but wear something with color. May nakita akong isang test taker, yun nga si engineer. Kilala mo ba si engineer? Si Mark. Ang ganda ng suot niya nung interview, ay nung test days. Ano siya, polo shirt siya, na white. Ha? Naka-polo shirt siya na white. And then, naka-cardigan siya na navy blue. Tapos naka-pants. Syempre pants. Bawal mag-shorts. And of course, you should wear closed shoes. So for women, okay lang naman magsuot ng dress as long as it's smart casual. Huwag naman yung OA na a-attend ka ng park. O mamaya prison pa lang punta mo, naka-mini dress kang ganun. Okay. And next we have slurring and audibility. So, slurring, ito yung kapag nasa stroke na yung tao, tapos nasa slur na yung speech nila. Totoo yun! Kapag nasa stroke, isang sign ng stroke is slurred speech.
Ano po ba? Umiinom yung pa. Kinakain yung salita. Di ba?
Isa din yung indicator na yun nga, nasa stroke na yun, mild stroke na yung tao. Pero yun nga, kaya nga din nagsa-slurred speech kasi nagdi-dysfunction na yung half of the body or half of the brain. Tama ba? Sino dito yung mga nasa nursing or medical field? Mga kayo, mali-mali na yung sinasabi ko.
Tama po, tama.
Nasa nursing field ka? Alam mo, duda ako doon.
Ay, kapag pamili. Miss po kasi sa atin. Miss po sa atin. Pag may gusto ko ng tubig, okay.
Okay.
Pero,
Gusto mo ikaw na. Madami itong i-share. Okay, in order for you to avoid slurred speech, you have to make sure that you open your mouth wider while talking, but don't overdo it. Natatawa naman ako na i-imagine ko yung overdoing it. So, guys, the only way for you to enunciate and articulate vowel sounds and consonant sounds correctly is for you to open your mouth properly, okay? So, kung gusto nyo ng more detailed lesson about pronunciation, next week natin i-plot. Pero sana huwag kayong umatin dalawa. Kasi yung pronunciation lecture natin, it's fun, but it's also for serious people. Okay, let's watch this video. Ay, wait lang guys. I wouldn't have this job if I were not magaling.
Very, very,
Okay, wait.
very.
Okay. For those of you na napanood na tong video na to and you want to go home early, it's okay. Okay? Nag-connect na siya.
Now, we've been talking about a well-known person you like or admire, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider, first of all, famous people in your country.
Yep.
So in China, what kind of people become famous?
Politicians, the pop stars, and sports stars. It's similar with the other countries, I think.
Is one of those groups more popular than others?
This depends, because for like politicians, you have to know them because they appear all the time on televisions, on newspapers. But for some pop stars, like, because it's especially famous for the young people, because the young people like to follow the stars and the new trends. But for sports stars, they mainly become famous during some Olympic Games or some competitions. So it really depends. Obviously, my parents at their age, and when they was young, they also follow some pop stars and the sports stars, and for the politicians, they change quite often. So yeah, they're also famous. Yeah.
And how about the future? Where do you think it's going to go?
I think this kind of people will remain famous in the future. This type of people, because we still have lots of new pop stars, sports stars, and some new politicians. But I think some other people will join them as well. For example, nowadays we some like entrepreneurs. For example, the founder of the Facebook, he's famous for everyone. Even some not weird but strange people like the founder of the WikiLeaks. He's also popular because the things has done. So I think this kind of new link, nowadays, most of people use, the Facebook, the Twitters, so definitely this kind of website or the new technology will help to, make people famous. And I think many people are working on it because, there are special companies, to make these people famous through the internet, the advertisement or promotion.
Now let's talk about celebrity culture. Often famous people are used in advertising.
Yep.
Can you give me some examples of that?
Well, it's quite often, we can see most famous people on the television. For example, like one typical example is the Michael Jordan, because he is actually when the first time the Nike become very famous is because Michael Jordan, because he is the first, his first NBA stars, to sign a company to have the serious commercials for specific companies. And I think that's a typical example, how the famous people to help the company successful, and also the company use his money to make the stars become more famous. So I think yeah.
And that example you're talking about with Michael Jordan, he's a basketball player who was promoting a product that he was personally involved in producing.
Yeah.
What about celebrities who endorse products for which they have no personal connection?
Yeah, it's quite often because people are profit oriented. Because we can see lots. I think for some like makeup production, we can see lots of famous female stars. They just say, okay, this one's so good, it's fantastic. Nobody know whether she is using it or not. Yeah, I think sometimes it depends on this is ethnical choice. Someone they really try it and use it and then say, okay, this one's fine, it's good. So we can rely on it. Or some of them just want to get the money. So just do the promotion stuff without really using it or testing it.
Now, how about our young people? How might famous people or celebrities have a negative impact on our young people?
Well, as we know, some famous people is not that good. How to say this? I cannot say that immoral, but the actions they have done is really bad. The example for the young kids or the young generation, because some of them once they become the famous, they just try to drugs, have stay in the clubs, all day, not all day, but all the night, and yeah, definitely. Young people sometimes cannot distinguish good things or the bad things. Sometimes they just follow the star's actions. So it makes some of them just okay say it's pretty cool thing to try some drug because that star is trying it and or many stars trying it. Oh, it's pretty cool to stay with girls all the time, giving the girls all the time. Some might idol he's doing the same thing. So I think it's pretty bad negative effects on young people.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's the end of the speaking test.
Thanks.
Okay. So now that you watched that sample video, is it your first time watching it?
Now, we've been talking about a well-known person you like or admire, and
So the speaker score is a band 6. Okay, so what did he do wrong and what did he do right in order for him to achieve a band 6? Let's talk about that one by one. So he was able to give a reasonable range of linking words, such as the words actually, as a result. Very important kasi na may linking words para magkaroon ng cohesion yung speech mo. Alright? Grammatical constructions are used well to introduce ideas by having, sabi niya, by having a hobby, by doing sports. So, obviously, hindi lang simple sentences ang kaya niyang deconstruct. And then he conveyed his ideas and opinions effectively. Pronunciation is generally clear, but then dahil sa accent niya, medyo nahirapan kayo intindihin siya, am I right? So kaya naka-band 6 lang siya. The things that he did wrong or should be avoided is too much information or ang haba lagi ng mga sagot niya. Excessive use of the words well, like, cause, and yeah. Does not demonstrate awareness of register or style and uses very informal words like gonna and wanna. Okay, so most native speakers naman, they use I want to go there, I'm gonna do this, that, but it's informal language. That's why you should try to avoid using informal expressions. Flat intonation. Hindi masyadong versatile or spontaneous yung intonation niya. He had a flat intonation. And he had a lot of mispronunciations with words with L and R. Kasi ganun po sa China, sa Japan, at sa South Korea, walang R and L yung alphabet nila, kaya nahirapan sila. Unlike us Filipinos, where our language is very similar to English, right? Let's watch another video.
we've been talking about a well-known person you like or admire, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this. Let's consider first of all famous people in your country. So in Malaysia, what kind of people become famous?
In Malaysia, definitely the politicians and also some actors and actresses are very famous among Malaysians.
So what about in the past? Is that the same as in the past? Were politicians and actors and actresses always?
I think definitely the past, if we're talking about the 50s and 60s, movies were the #1 communication tool between villages or towns. So the people definitely knew actors and actresses better than the politicians. Compared to now, you have TV and news where people follow politicians' personal life more than an actor or actress.
Because in many cultures, quite the opposite has happened, where politicians used to be quite well known, whereas nowadays movie stars, television stars are more well known. What do you think about in the future? Do you think that that's going to continue? Politicians will continue to be?
I think definitely in the future, because the world is becoming more globalized, Malaysians would have a tendency to be exposed to more international programs, and they know more international celebrities compared to the local actors and actresses or local politicians. So we would follow international politics, maybe American or British politics, or even the models or actresses internationally.
Well, let's talk about celebrity culture. Often famous people are used in advertisements. Can you give me some examples of that?
Yeah, famous people like actors and actresses are used in advertisements, and especially sports celebrities like Tiger Woods or Roger Federer promoting sports equipment or sports shoes or clothes. Other than that, I think it's more models and actresses that sponsor perfume and clothes. And
is that always true that whatever profession they're involved in, that's the kind of product that they tend to promote?
I don't think that's true, because a lot of celebrity actresses support perfumes and support clothes whereby actually it should be models that do it.
But isn't that sort of glamorous kind of side of Hollywood that they can try to bring to the public?
I suppose that's what they're trying to do. The marketing, the people who are marketing the product are trying to bring in the glamour that celebrity holds. But yeah, I suppose a celebrity they do have that grasp over, people's mindset and what they should buy, the consumerism.
Now you're talking about their influence
Yes.
on the consumer. What about on the young? Do celebrities, do you think, produce negative effects in our youth?
Definitely, I think they do. As you can see, like lifestyle and health, celebrities are becoming thinner, models and celebrities. And when you open a magazine, young girls would be exposed to thin models, and they think that that's normal for them to be thin, and that could cause them to go into anorexia or bulimia or unhealthy practices, because they think being thin is the norm, whereas being healthy and being normal bodied is actually the norm.
Now, what about young boys? Do you think that celebrities can have an influence on young boys?
I think most definitely. I think young boys could be influenced in a way materialistically, like they would want the big car that the celebrities drive, and they want the bling, and they want all the cool gadgets and tools that there are out there, and it could make boys realize that materialistic things are the only way to happiness.
Now, what about public opinion? How might celebrities be used to influence public opinion?
Celebrities are used actually to, like, if you can see PETA, the protection of the endangered animals, they use celebrities to get to the public. There's like this promotion where they get celebrities to go naked to show that animals are stripped, especially like seals and foxes and all that, for their fur. And it strikes a chord because it's a celebrity. Oh, that person's doing that. Let's look at the poster. Oh, what's the message? Okay, I get it. No? Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's the end of the video. This is a sample of a band 9 answer. Okay? So, kung mapapansin nyo, hindi siya mabilis magsalita. Her speaking pace was just enough, right? Okay. So, why did she get a 9? Obviously, she spoke fluently, right? Nag-self-correct ba siya? No. Spontaneous siya makipag-usap. There's no hesitation at ang bilis niya mag-generate ng answers, di ba? And, kung mapapansin nyo, very flexible yung vocabulary niya. Nag-mention siya ng anorexia, bulimia, and stuff like that. Precise use of words in all topics. So, for you guys to achieve a high band score, you have to make sure that you attend at least 10 coaching sessions before applying for the test. And of course, self-evaluation. Kaya ko na ba talaga? Ano ba yung consistent kong nakukuhang score sa listening, sa reading, or sa writing? Yung writing, papacheck po tayo kay Sir Kevin, especially when he's here. He's gonna be here tomorrow and on Saturday. So grab that chance. Gawa kayo ng writing task nyo and ipacheck natin sa kanya. Attend minor lectures related to speaking and even the major lectures, of course. If you feel like grammar is your weakness, then might as well attend grammar lectures. Orange book, I think makakapag-provide si Sir Flower, si Sir Roel ng orange book. Soft copy. Practice answering speaking task cards. Yun nga, yung ina-attach namin na PDF files. Please print it out and expand your vocabulary for better self-expression. Okay? Watch English movies, TV shows, series on Netflix, or something like that. Be confident when you're preparing, meaning during your mock interviews. Show confidence. Don't hesitate to speak. Start strong and finish strong. Aim for 9. I know you guys don't have the same progress. We all have our own pacing. So please don't be discouraged. Don't be easily discouraged if you're not improving fast as others. Just take your time. But again, some reminders are don't be oversaturated in IELTS. Kasi, syempre, when you're oversaturated, it also means that alam mo yun, parang mawawala yung momentum. So, 2 to 3 months, 3 to 4 months, depending on the level of the student, pwede na yun. And for those who are on Zoom, thank you so much for your participation. I'll see you guys on Friday. Bye. I'm gonna end the meeting. So, sa mga nandito, do you have any questions that you would like to ask before I dismiss everyone?